Done is taken the incident after the Vegas shooting and left a possibility, however small it might be, that he's still alive, that he went to New Mexico, that a special government organization kind of protected him, that a special government organization kind of protected him.
The music video for I Wonder If Heaven's Got a Ghetto begins in a desolate desert landscape on September 14th, 1996. The desert is symbolically a place for divine revelation, where one is metaphorically cleansed. The desert is the realm of abstraction, located outside the sphere of existence and susceptible only to things transcendent. The desert is the domain of the sun, representing a pure, celestial radiance of illumination or enlightenment. It symbolizes infinite access or an opening to a particular promised land. So Tupac escapes here because he needs to be cleansed of the evil surrounding the Las Vegas situation. Interestingly enough, there is a biblical verse which states, "Wherefore if they shall say unto you, Behold he, the Messiah, is in the desert, go not forth." Matthew 24:26. So we have this Messiah, Christ-like figure, Tupac, in the desert. This music video primarily deals with Christ-like themes and imagery, since that is essentially the archetype that Tupac played throughout his career. There is a biblical passage in which Jesus had to overcome temptation or undergo a spiritual cleansing and had 3 angels to minister him in the desert. Mark 1:13. And he was in the wilderness 40 days, being tempted by Satan. He was with the wild animals, and angels attended him. Tupac is in the desert to be spiritually cleansed and becomes tempted by Lilith, the lady in red, whom he has a sexual affair with in the music video. Lilith is a female archetype of Satan. We'll discuss that more in a little bit. In the music video, Tupac is greeted by 3 nuns. These 3 women represent the 3 angels in Revelation 14 who call of mercy to the world before the return of Jesus Christ. Just as how Jesus had 3 angels to assist him with his spiritual purification in the desert, so does Tupac. The job of these 3 angels, nuns, is to help purify and redeem him back to his Christ nature. So remember how Tupac was introduced as divinity in the same song music video, but eventually became a thug, gangbanger, etc.? Well, these 3 angels are trying to bring him back to that divine king state. He has to cleanse himself of the Vegas incident. So this purification process takes them 6 days. In the Bible, it was said that creation took 6 days to complete. Hence, the number 6 reflects a divine completion. In Kabbalistic numerology, the number 6 represents resolution and harmony and the beginning of a unified essence. 6 expresses the essence of the cosmic law of the unity and struggle of opposites, harmony, and the polarity of male and female. The number 6 contains the elements of immortality. So after 6 days, 2pac becomes restored back to his divine nature, like how he was introduced and presented in the same song video. Since the number 6 is a number relating to purity, this ties into the white sheet imagery. White symbolizes purity, and the sheets are thus clothing him in this purity. This is a baptism, an atonement, or a rebirth. So 2pac is this Christ-like figure who fell into darkness and is becoming spiritually reborn in harmony or unity. There are 3 beds. The number 3 symbolizes a harmony that includes and synthesizes 2 opposites. The number 3 represents reconciling or connecting 2 dualistic halves. 3 removes the contradictions, and abolishing the old dual state of being is born a new state, deducing the world to a qualitatively new level. So 2pac is gone. The angry, dualistic, contracting persona has been removed, and now he's one, or Christ. There's a woman and 2 men lying within these 3 beds. This can be expressed as a representation of the Holy Trinity or Triad, which means set, the union of 3, where the main role belongs to the One, the Father. That is, represents the idea of the family: father, mother, child, Isis, Osiris, Horus. So 2pac is a part of this Holy Trinity. In the next scene, 2pac pulls back the veil that covered his head whilst he laid in bed. Pulling back the veil is an idiom for revealing something that was previously a secret or bringing something that has been concealed to light. This represents that he is now purified. He has been reborn and is emerging into this new divine state. Lifting the veil is a metaphor and allegorical artistic motif in which the truth is personified as being covered by a veil or mantle representing the inaccessibility of nature's secrets. Lifting this veil brings an individual to a higher state of spirituality. To part or pierce the veil of matter is to gain entry into a state of spiritual awareness in which the mysteries of nature are revealed. The veil symbolizes purity, virginity, and chastity. Thus, 2pac has been restored back to this divine unified nature. He is seen through new, clean eyes as this Christ figure. Interlocking triangles. The upper stands for Shiva, Purusha, male energy, and fire, the lower for Shakti, Prakriti, female power, and water. Unification of these 2 creates unity, which is seen as Christ-like or pure. Given that the number 6 embodies purification, this 6-pointed star figure ties into the 6 days later at the introduction of this video. 2 of these 6-pointed stars are situated in between a doorway. The twin pillars of the sign of Gemini. They are situated on rectangular stones. These represent the perfect ashlar in Freemasonry. These stones symbolize man in his perfected or purified state. So 2pac is about to enter through this doorway because he is divine again. The camera enters through this door, which symbolizes entering into the mysteries or the veil being pulled back. Interestingly, the tarot card featuring these 2 pillars shows Isis being unveiled. Pay close attention to this image. This is the goddess Isis, the sister mother of Osiris. She weeps when Osiris dies, and she helps resurrect him. Guess who plays Isis in this music video? Afeni! Once the camera enters through this doorway, we see 5 children dressed in white, symbolizing purity, innocence, renewal, rejuvenation, resurrection. 5, as a symbol of dominion over the natural forces of the spirit, has always expressed the idea of man dying to reach a state of immortality. The children are in shock because 2pac is now in a divine or Christ-like state of essence. He isn't the same thug persona that he displayed beforehand. He has now been metaphorically baptized and cleansed of this. He is unrecognizable from his old form. Stairs represent ascension. The 2 women in white. Entering through these pillars grants you access to the divine heavens. 2pac is entering through these pillars because he is Christ entering into a higher state of divinity. So now he is in this cleansed Christ essence. He has left his old form behind and is now ready to move on and start new beginnings. The color blue symbolizes freedom, strength, and expansion. So this blue car is emblematic of the vehicle that will transport him to places of optimism and better opportunities. The vehicle represents the movement or initial process of this new beginning and rebirth of 2pac. The old 2pac is dead, as depicted on his 7-Day Theory album. The new 2pac has been resurrected, reborn in a new purified essence with 3 angels guiding him in the desert, like Jesus. The wise old man, also called Senex, sage, or Sophos, is an archetype as described by Carl Jung, as well as a classic literary figure, and represents a guidance figure distinguished for his wisdom and sound judgment. So this guide or angel is taking 2pac figuratively to higher places. License plate number is 61671, 2pac's birthday. 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 7 plus 1 adds up to 21 or 3, signifying divinity, trinity, purity, perfection, completion. So he is divine and perfect, traveling down a seemingly divine path of new beginnings. 2pac is pure. He gives the little boy his bandana to spiritually protect him from harm. This represents 2pac as a Christ-like figure. The violent thug 2pac has died on September 13th and has become resurrected and reborn as this new divine figure. The bus is the mode of transportation, symbolic of 2pac moving forward in his new journey of life. He has left behind that thug gangsta character and is now on a more conscious life path. This bus is empty in this scene, signifying that he is starting from a new, clean state now that he is purified of his former self. The bus is driving through the desert or a desolate landscape, symbolizing new beginnings, a clean state. 2pac is driving this bus, which signifies that he is in control of navigating this pathway of life that lies ahead of him. He is riding on a charter bus rather than a luxurious vehicle, symbolizing that he has chosen to associate and center his destiny around or with people who are similar to him or where he is going. Hence, he is in a bus full of dead legends, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis, etc., because that is what he's destined to become, a posthumous legend. That is where he is headed, both figuratively and literally in this music video. The bus is full of people who have become immortalized through their deaths. 2pac drives this bus to symbolize that he is now amongst this group who have become posthumous legends. He is guiding them by literally driving them, which plays into the Christ archetype prevalent throughout this video. But affiliating himself with these individuals has tainted his divine nature. He is beginning to fall from his unified, purified Christ state and return back to the dualistic, contradictory 2pac. Hence, in this scene, the two men are dressed in white and black, symbolic of duality or matter. In the next scene, he enters Cafe Harod. Harod is a play on the word Herod. Herod was the king of Judea who was responsible for the beheading of John the Baptist. According to the New Testament, Luke 23:7, Herod tries to kill Jesus by ordering the death of all children under the age of 2 in Bethlehem. Herod is this evil figure who attempts to kill Jesus. Thus 2pac, this Christ-like figure entering into this cafe, signifies that he is now in danger. He has fallen back into duality and impurity. Duality represents tension or a split. Duality is seen as evil, as it signifies that the spirit and the body are in opposition to each other rather than in unison. Duality is seen as a lower-natured aspect of man. Thus, when 2pac enters this cafe, he becomes seduced. His pure, unified nature becomes contaminated by this impure duality. 2pac is now in a state of duality and is lured further into it by the Lady in Red. The Lady in Red is known as Lilith in occult teachings. She represents the Scarlet Woman, the whore of Babylon in the Book of Revelations. Lilith is the harlot or whore in biblical teachings. She is viewed as a demon or a sexual temptress who lures Adam away from his divine, pure, unified state by engaging in sexual intercourse with him. By Adam mating with Lilith, his divine nature becomes contaminated. The Scarlet Woman is also depicted wearing the color red because this is the color of the root chakra, where lustful desires lie.
You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
This is the Lady in Red in the Matrix. She seduces Neo in order to tempt him back into the illusion or state of ignorance through her sexual prowess. The Lady in Red is an ancient occult theme symbolizing Christ or Adam falling from his original divine state. So she lures 2pac into room 7 to bring him further into duality. He becomes tempted by this sexual temptress and loses his state of divinity and purity. 7 is, of course, highly symbolic, as it represents the duration of his career, 1989 to 1996, September 7th, etc. But this number actually represents duality and his fall back into duality. The number 7 is a prime number, so when we break it down, we generally do it by adding 3 and 4. 7 is made up of 2 numbers, hence it represents duality. She is bringing him further into that. So she lures him into the room and they engage in a sexual affair. He has become tainted by this action since the Lady in Red, or Lilith, poisons Adam's primordial nature. His carnal desires overpowered his spiritual nature since he is supposed to be Christ and has now become fallen. The black community suffers as a result of this and becomes fallen too. He cries out a sense of guilt and shame for being so easily tempted. He is impure again and in a state of duality again, just like the old contradictory Tupac. He is now acknowledged as Pac since he has fallen from this Christ image. So since he has fallen from his state of divinity, he has spiritually died and thus must undergo this death resurrection ritual all over again. Hence the clock behind this lady reads 4:03 p.m., the time of his death on September 7th. He has died again due to falling back into duality and out of this state of divinity unity. He has to undergo cleansing all over again. So the video ends with Afeni dressed as a nun. This time, she will be the angel or one of the three angels who purifies Tupac. She is symbolic of Isis, who resurrects Osiris after his death. This divine feminine archetype who must purify Tupac back to his same-song kingly divine nature. Isis is always clothed in white because it represents virginity or purity. So this is really a Virgin Mary archetype that she is playing. Isis always wears a veil over her head like Afeni because she is divine and chaste. So essentially the whole music video is about death and resurrection, two themes that lie prominent throughout Tupac's career over and over again. It's the death and resurrection of Osiris. So this video is actually highly symbolic when you examine the death and resurrection of Osiris ritual that took place on September 7th to 13th. So many people misinterpret the I Wonder If Heaven's Got a Ghetto video. They think it symbolizes him faking his death or escaping from the government, but it's really just an allegorical and symbolic representation of the death and resurrection ritual that has encompassed his whole career.
Hold on. I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Cause then I start to taste them. I say,
What we've done is taken the incident after the Vegas shooting.
Released another album under the alias Machiavelli.
We left a possibility,
Writers are running wild trying to rearrange
however small it might be,
the other artists' street dates in fear of a wipeout.
that he's still alive, that he went to New Mexico,
Retail interchart movement.
special government organization.
wait a minute,